Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. I am Nigel Courtney. A recent thought has come to surface in my vast mind, and it is that not enough people care about ancient history and its artifacts. So tonight, we will be looking at... Oh, come on, just hear me out here. Alright, tonight, we'll be looking at ancient artifacts from Egyptian and Greek mythologies. Our first artifact we will be focusing on is the upper part of a caduceus from Greek mythology. This caduceus was made to suggest to Sicily and is bronze but rusted with age, kind of like my mother. It was made in the 5th century BCE. That's almost as old as the constant feeling of nothingness that accompanies me constantly. It has two snakes contained together in a loop shape with the eyes being made from unknown material. The primary symbol we'll be focusing on is used for snakes in the caduceus. The caduceus was a prime symbol of Hermes, but there is some dispute among the ancient Greeks as to whether Hermes made it himself or Zeus gave it to him. Nevertheless, it was one of his prime symbols, like me and Earl Grey. The reason the snakes were a symbol of the caduceus, because back when Hermes assumed some elements of the Egyptian god Thoth, which he was the hot new god and he was slowly eclipsing Thoth, he also took on some mystical traits, because Thoth had those too. Thus, the snakes in the caduceus represent the eternal equilibrium of life, locked in chaos, and are crawling around the center of the caduceus, locked in equilibrium. Snakes meant good things, and were a symbol of Asclepius. I'm British, for heaven's sake. I know what I'm saying. They were a symbol of Asclepius, the god of medicine, and thus they were associated with medicine. They also symbolize the cycle of life to the Greeks because they shed their skin. Personally, I don't understand why the ancient Greeks thought snakes were so good, because when I see a snake, my first instinct is to recreate St. Patrick's Day. If we were to use a comparativist approach here, we can see many snakes throughout different mythologies, and they're almost always good symbols. For example, in Native American mythology, snakes are symbols of life and rebirth. Again, because of their skin shedding. I also do a form of shedding, where I declare bankruptcy and make a fresh start. In ancient China, snakes were symbols of good luck and reproduction, and often represent nature, with the person controlling the snakes being seen as the person who controls nature itself. This also explains why some of the gods are depicted as snakes. Fuji, who is the mythical ancestor of Chinese civilization, and his sister Nuwa, who created humans, and why the snake is on the Chinese zodiac. But if we were to use a particularist approach here, we could see that snakes can also symbolize bad things, with my former wife being a prime example. However, if you're looking for one from mythology, a good example would be from Christian mythology, where snakes often being seen as tempters and liars. There are even some conflicting things in Greek mythology, with Medusa, a terrifying monster having snakes for hair. Hardly a good omen if they are associated with a monster that can kill you on sight. Alright, we're halfway done, but there's no time to dilly-dally, because as they say in England, life is short. So colonize a few places, commit a few war crimes, and listen to an insufferable aristocrat drone on about something you couldn't care less of. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go tickle the ivories, as they say in England. Our second artifact is a snake head figurine from Egyptian mythology. This beautiful snake head was made between 332 BC and 300 CE, and was from Egypt. Its medium was bronze and has clearly been through some hard times. The mouth is open, and there's clearly some form of writing along the side. It appears to have no eyes, just like my former wife's new husband. The symbol for this artifact is obviously the snake. In this way, the symbol and the artifact are almost one and the same. It is used for the primary focus of the artifact, but it is not entirely clear what the artifact is used for. Did it have a purpose? Who knows? Does anything have a purpose, or are we all just adrift in the bottomless machinations of time, struggling to wrangle a meeting out of all of this chaos? Anyways, moving on. The ancient Egyptians both feared and worshipped the snakes. Kind of like me and the IRS, except that's mostly fair. Snakes were often associated with cruelty and power, with the serpent Meher, who would encircle Ra's skybarge to protect him. What was Meher protecting him from? Well, then we go to get to the evil part of the Egyptians' belief. Evil and fear. Meher helped to protect Ra from Apep, the evil serpent that Ra had to battle each day in order for the sun to rise the next day. If we were to use a comparativist approach here, we would say the snakes of Apep and Meher symbolize the chaos of good and evil, much like the snakes from the Greek Cretaceous. We can see this in many other cultures too, like the Chinese snake god Nuwa, who created humans and thus the concepts of good and evil for them. The purest form of good being hedgehogs, of course, and the purest form of evil being flamingos. However, if we were to use the particularist approach here, we would say that the concept of snakes being the chaos of good and evil is not very common, with one culture often sticking to either good or evil, such as the Hopi Native American tribe, who thought that snakes represented fertility and good luck, or the concept of good, and with Nordic mythology, who has Jormungandr, the autonomy of Thor, or the concept of evil. That's how Thor is supposed to die, too, fighting Jormungandr and Ragnarok. My arch enemy will probably be the pesky Scottish. Freedom will never come to you, you kilt-wearing buffoons! This has concluded ancient history with Nigel. Now time for present-day history, or the present. We'll be reviewing another culture that is so obscure and has almost no written records, except for the ones online. America. And we'll be reviewing artifacts from that culture with my trusty butler.
Hello, my name is...
Shut up, butler! You don't have a name. You have a life. You are just butler.
Okay, sir. I would do what British butlers do best. Hide away my feelings until I can no longer feel emotion.
They call this the VR headset.
Oh, okay. These must be what they use to commune with their gods. Alright. Let me just turn this peculiar object on. Oh, dear God! Oh, jeez, I've appeared to have gone into the fourth dimension! Oh gosh! Oh God, why hast thou forsaken me to this peculiar torment? I feel like my mind is above space and time itself! Ah! Oh my God, I'm in some sort of torture game! Why? What? Oh, I must be
supersonic speed.
After you graciously allowed me 1 hour of medical relief.
Curse human rights laws.
Well, anyways, we brought this new drink that is quite popular with the youth of America.
Oh, this must be their version of Earl Grey. It must commune youth and vitality to them in ritual aspect it is consumed. Alright, let's give it a swig. That is not Earl Grey! Poison! Poison! That drink is almost as noxious as Earl Grey tea without the grey!
I assure you, this is not poison. It certainly isn't healthy, but it does have a lot of calories.
Ugh. Lies and slander! My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. Now get that out of here, and give me the next one. Putrid! I really have to stop wearing a full coat everywhere I go. I think I need some motivational sounds. Alright. Relaxing World War I noises. Yeah, I'm doing so much better now. On second thought, I think it's time for my workout to end. Let me just climb down here.
I'll teach you back.
This must be the ways of non-verbal communication. That's how they did it back in England.
They call this object a profiteer.
This must be the ways of the future. I must obviously be right. Well, Nigel grew up to be the greatest man in history. Signs point to no. Butler! This is clearly defective. That's alright, folks. We'll get a better one. Alright, another take. Will Nigel live to the ripe old age of 253? Will Nigel be the Prime Minister of England? Be a Hollywood actor? Have to do his taxes? No. No! Yes!
This is a skating book. It is popular in the teen youth of many Americans.
Teen?
Adolescents.
Oh, I know what you mean now. Let's give us a go. This must be the modern form of transportation.
I'm afraid to warn you, but this is not really meant for transportation.
Alright. Standing wasn't quite working. So, it's time for sitting.
Although sitting might be a safer alternative, it's still going to be very overwhelming, and I suggest using caution.
Sean!
Butler! Come here! I seem to have hurt myself.
Why did I sign the contract?
Okay, I'll try standing. Right. Oh no, the board went. Oh, but do I have to do it more?
Do it for the moving picture, sir.
I'm doing it, Butler. I'm doing it. Oh, too far. Well, just don't let go, Butler. It will be fine, okay? Wow! That was the day I landed my own mortal existence. Anyway, cheerio then, toodaloo, and see you next time. Watch this. No harms. Oh, Nigel still got it.